Money, consumption, status, and power have long driven our culture's pulse. They've shaped our motivations, our behaviors, and our beliefs. But what happens when we give art the same influence? Writers, designers, musicians, photographers, videographers, and the world's most creative minds have the power to heal us, challenge us, and guide us back home to ourselves. In their hands and through their crafts, we find a new world, one where art is a catalyst for powerful change, where self-expression, human connection, and deep empathy are the world's richest assets. This is Art is the New Wall Street, with your host, Morgan Short.
All right. Hey, artists and creatives. Welcome back to Art is the New Wall Street. With me today is Beca Bagdocimo. I said that wrong. Beca Bagdocimo, bag of donuts.
Yes.
She's also known as the Code Fairy. She recently left the corporate world to pursue astrology full-time, and she's living in her van, and I'm really pumped to talk with her today and catch up. Becca, welcome to the show.
I'm glad to be here today. I'm super excited. I was tweaking out all week. I was like, I'm going on a podcast. I'm going on a podcast, Luke. He's like, don't you have a podcast? I was like, yeah, but no one listens to that one, so.
I started listening. It's you and your mom, and you're talking about just astrology and things like that, right?
Yes, we're always talking about anything that falls into the metaphysical realm, death, spirituality, anything. There's no topic off limits.
So I was reading back on our messages, like when I initially found you and came across you, and of course I found you on LinkedIn of all places back in March. When you
had some really good things about marketing to say, and I tried so hard to bring what you were saying. I was like, this woman is brilliant. Tried to bring it to my company, and they were like, no, we're doing AI powered everything. And I'm like,
Well, I found you through like a really cool campaign you did, but that's in your previous life. So
oh my God, I forgot about that. That is how you found me.
Yeah, I found you through the like tarot campaign that you did for a corporate company.
That was so cool. They really should have listened to me. They shouldn't have fired me, but that's their loss.
Okay, so let's talk about the transition. Let's talk about what made you leave corporate, or what happened, and what you're up to now.
Yes. Okay, so I hadn't been in corporate for 5 years. I initially got laid off of a sales job during COVID, pursued painting and independent web design and brand consulting, and just ended up doing a bunch of freelance work, working just as an artist, essentially. Then I really wanted to go back into corporate. I was like, ooh, stability. That sounds nice. No, I was wrong. Within a month, I was like, oh no, I've made a grave mistake. And I was like, that's okay. It's a doorway. I knew at the time that me going back into corporate was simply a doorway into the next chapter, but I didn't know, I couldn't go back, but I couldn't go forward just yet. And I was in this like hallway essentially between two doors that entire time I was in corporate. And I knew that it was going to be short-lived. I knew it intuitively. And I also had been studying my birth chart, and I was like, oh, I'm leaving by July. I don't know how I leave, but I'm not going to be in corporate by July. And so it was almost like this inevitable ticking time bomb for me. And then I just realized what I loved about humanity did not align with this corporation. And I was like, this simply, like, I was at like this point that I was ready to quit because of our differing views on human rights. And I just couldn't work for them anymore. But I really wanted severance. So I was like, I am not giving them effort, like an ounce of effort anymore. I will let them fire me. And I journaled in my notebook like madly, and I was like, I want to go back to being self-employed, so I'm releasing it to the universe and letting her take care of it. And then 2 days later, my job was randomly eliminated. I was like, heard, awesome, that was perfect. And my final date, they told me on the day that my job was eliminated, they're like, your final day of employment will be July 1st. And that is when I predicted that I would no longer be in corporate, was July.
No way.
Yeah,
No
from
way.
reading my astrology, I knew that I wouldn't be in corporate. It was more so just like at the initial point that happened, I was just so shocked because it was like, one, I've predicted this. Two, I asked for this in my journal 2 days ago. And three, you had to do it on a Capricorn moon. Capricorn moons are cold and callous.
Tell us more about Capricorn moon, and tell us more about how other people can start getting into this and like listening to the code.
Yes. Okay, I think the best way to learn about astrology, because astrology is simply just the study of energy. We live in a computer program, and it's a programming language that tells us about the energy that's happening around us, the energy that's within us, and it's simply just like a coding system. And so to learn, because we live in an energetic matrix. Oh my God, I have so many thoughts about this. But we live in a freaking energy matrix, and people think astrology isn't real. I'm like, it's literally the study of energy. You're saying energy's not real. But the best way to learn about energy in a non-kitschy, non-pop astrology way is truly by tracking your emotions with the moon. Every single day, check where the moon is, because it changes the zodiac sign every 2.5 days. And it takes 28 days for it to go through the entire 12 signs. And so after about 2 months, you can already start to pick up on patterns. Like, I know that every time the moon is in Aries, I spend so much fucking money. I am not allowed to leave the house that day. And then when like the moon is in Pisces, oh my God, I'm a sensitive crybaby. I'm not allowed to be on the internet that day because I will cry if anyone says anything remotely mean to me, or even if it's not mean, I take everything personal. And then a Capricorn moon, that is not a day to have feelings. Not a day to have feelings at all.
How did you initially start getting into astrology? I think I know a little bit of the story, but share with listeners.
Okay, yes. So I was taking a course to become a full stack Java developer. Which is totally not related to, well, it is actually entirely related to astrology. So I worked as a web designer for nearly a decade, and I wanted to become a better designer, essentially. And I was like, I need to learn like all of the coding languages. I want to learn Java, and then Python, and then all of the other ones. And I started taking a course, and while I was taking the course, this was literally only a year and a half ago. I've learned so much in a year and a half.
Wow.
And while I was taking the course, I intuitively felt like the urge to look up my birth chart. And I looked up my chart, and whatever website I landed on, it didn't really focus on like the wheel. It just listed out the placements, like sun 26 degrees Virgo, moon 2 degrees Leo, and so on and so forth. And then it's showing all the aspects listed out, and then it lined up all the houses in order. And the way it looked when I was analyzing it, because I was so deep in code, learning code, I was like, oh my God, this is a coding language. Why is no one talking about this? This is like more than just like woo-woo spirituality shit or like mythology. This is literally a coding language. And so I'm like staring at this, and my mind is just in disbelief. And like the sun, it's like that's like represents an energy, a piece of the code, and then the degree it's in and the sign it's in, it's modifying the code. Just like if you were to type in like H1 bracket and then whatever it is that you want your heading 1 to be on a website. And I was like, it's the same way. It's the same structure. It's a logic system. It's a system of logic. And the more I started, like, I became obsessed. And so then I was like, fuck Java. Never got that certification. And I was like, this is my new hyperfixation. And I dived so deep into it. And upon diving deep into it, I realized, like, while I was studying my own chart, I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm reading what is about to happen and what is happening in real time, because I've now understand like the full coding language. And so I can pull up like a daily transit and be like, I know exactly what's going to happen today of my life, because this is just a system of logic, and you need to know what the logic system means.
How did you know to like just that this is my hyperfixation, this is where I'm going to this is what I'm going to focus on. This is it. Like, how did you just, what was it in you?
Okay, it was my birth chart, actually. It was my chart. So I've always been, there's a specific place, there's a couple different placements in my chart that point to me being very intense about anything I choose to do. One being Mars in Scorpio, because Mars represents drive, and with it being in Scorpio, Scorpio is the most intense of all of the signs. It's the most intense energy. You have a bunch of Scorpio energy, don't you?
Yes, I do.
I was like,
Becca did a reading for me recently, which, by the way, like,
we need to pull up your chart.
Yeah,
in a bit.
We should in a little bit.
Okay.
But let's keep talking about your story first.
Oh, yes. So I'm just like very intense about anything that I do. I just go so hard, like 100%, like I can't half-ass anything. And then I have a bunch of energy in my third house, which third house is all about learning and communication. And I'm like, well, I love to learn. That makes sense. Like Venus is in there. So what I value more than anything else in life is learning. So I'm like a very intense learner. And then I have Saturn in the ninth house, which Saturn represents like an area of life that we're supposed to master. The ninth house is higher learning, and like it's the higher octave of like that third house. The third house is like your basic knowledge of just functioning in the simulation. And then the ninth house is like the knowledge of the universe almost. And so I've always been, because that's part of my energetic signature, I've always been one to constantly look for more and more information. I've learned, I literally triple majored in college because I couldn't decide between majoring in economics, philosophy, or mathematics. I was like, I want to do all three. So I'm like always about learning. I know. And so then when I was reading my chart, I was like, I was already going to learn astrology, even if it wasn't in my chart to learn astrology, because I wanted to learn everything. I just want to, it's like Saturn in the ninth house. Creates a type of person that wants to learn absolutely everything there is to learn about everything. And it is so exhausting because I won't ever get to learn everything that I want to learn in this lifetime. And reading that and seeing it in my chart, there's a couple other things that basically connected it, that laid it out, that's like, you are supposed to be teaching people the language of the universe, which is astrology. And I was like, wow, cool. Hyperfixation is now my career for the rest of my life. And so I'm the type of person that tends to change every like couple years. Like I switch topics, I get bored, I want to study something else. I'm like, now on to the next. But this time I'm like, this is actually the career this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, is I'm going to dive so deep into this topic and focus on philosophy. And it's hard because I'm getting antsy. I'm like, ooh, I'm kind of getting bored. I want to do something else. But I'm like, no, you're going to do this one. This is the one you're supposed to do. It's in your chart.
It's in your chart. Did you immediately know, okay, July, you left the job, and then did you spin up, okay, I'm doing readings full time, or like what happened in that transition?
Yes. Okay. So I was like, oh my God, I lost my job. I asked for this. I begged for this. I should probably then do what I asked for. If I asked like, get rid of this job so I can be self-employed, I should probably just go be self-employed. And then I was really nervous to go onto TikTok, actually. It's TikTok that really spiraled everything. I decided I was going to do readings full time, but LinkedIn just isn't the environment for me. LinkedIn is actually, it's a Taurus with a Gemini moon, and it's not my vibe. TikTok's a Virgo. I'm also a Virgo. Like the
Virgo
platform...
rising, Virgo moon over here.
Yes! Yeah, oh my God, I love your Virgo moon. We have to talk about that. I'm obsessed with Virgo moons. A really funny thing about Virgo moons that I have to tell you about. But anyway, I was just like, I need to do this. I keep reading people's birth charts on the side and telling them like, this is what you're supposed to do with your life. And then I'm not listening to my own chart. I need to go do this. So I took like the wildest leap. I was like, I'm just going to put myself out there. I'm going to go on TikTok and just yap about the universe, share all of my crazy theories, and I'm going to get over my wound around being misunderstood. So I went ahead and did that. And within 3 weeks, I had gained like 10,000 followers, and I made $15,000 in one single week from people booking readings, and I got booked out for 2 months.
Becca.
And I was like, if this isn't the clearest fucking sign from the universe that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, then I don't know what is. So I was like, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to dive full into it. And I mean, it slowed down. That was like it was also the transits at the time. And everything has slowed down because of the transits. A bunch of things went retrograde into different signs. But so it's going to pick back up. I know it is. But I'm at this moment where things have slowed down now. And I'm realizing it's the universe being like, no, we gave that to you so we could show you this is what you could have. And this is what you will have. However, there's still a lot more work to do now that you are doing this full time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did you get into the van? Tell me the van timeline.
Oh my God.
Because that also is part of this, right?
Yes. Okay. So then I looked up when I was studying my transits and saw that I was not going to be at my job in July. I also looked up my composite chart with my boyfriend, and I was studying our like relationship chart, if you will, and seeing like what events were in store for us. And I saw in our chart so clear, we had just moved into a new apartment.
When did you move into the apartment?
Literally the day of my first job at this corporation.
Okay.
Like it was that job was a doorway. It was like this portal that I was going through. It was in January. I moved in a new apartment. I started this new job. It all like went boom, 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 boom. And I was like, this is really crazy and all this is happening. And it happened very fast. But then within a month of it being in this job, I started looking at my transits and studying more and more astrology. And that's when I realized
I just have to pause for a second, because what's blowing my mind right now is like this corporation that you worked for, you were doing like you had birthed this astrology campaign.
Yeah.
And you're explaining it as a door.
Yes.
That's actually it's like the signs from the universe were all there. Hey, maybe you should do astrology.
Yes. Yes. And actually, okay, so it was the 10th day of me working at that company. Maybe it was actually 2 weeks in. It was either the 10th or 14th day. And I met Chris Walker, who is like, fucking, he's Jesus to all of the tech bros. And I love him. I love that man so much. And I didn't know anything about this motherfucker, okay? Because it was on our calendar. We were on like an on-site company trip. I just started working at the company. I'm like, processing so much information. I didn't look at my calendar. Why would no? And so like I show up stoned out of my mind for this like company meeting that Chris Walker is speaking at. I took a bunch of edibles beforehand. And so I sit down. I didn't research the guy. Didn't know who he was. I had never heard of him before because I wasn't on LinkedIn. And everything he was saying, I was so mesmerized by the man. And I like was so giddy in the audience, and at one point he looked at me and goes, I like your enthusiasm. And I was like, I like this dude a lot. He's really cool. So I was just, everything that he was saying, I was like, this is everything I've ever thought, but you're using the words for it. You're putting into words. And so I went up to him at the end and I was like, do you fucking meditate? He's like, no, never. And I'm like, you sound so enlightened, like you like meditate and you have meditated on all this information. Can I read your birth chart? There must be something there. And he was like, and then all the people around me were like, let her read your chart. She's really good at astrology, because I had been reading charts all week on this on-site for all of the employees at the company. And he goes, okay, whatever. And I like ask him his birthday, birth time, birth location. He just gives it to me. He's talking to someone else. I look at his chart really quick. And there were two things that immediately came to my mind that I saw written in his code. And I can't remember the first thing I said to him, but I said one thing to him. And then I said, and then when you were 27, your entire life fell apart and you moved back home. And everything got better after that. He turns to me, his jaw is completely like, and he's just still, and he's like, when I was 27, my entire life fell apart. I moved back home and then everything got better. And I was like, yeah, that's written in your code. Like, this is a coding language and I know everything about you. I can tell you everything about you that I know about you if you give me an hour of your time. And he was like, okay, done. So I was like, cool, does next Wednesday work? And so we scheduled a time in person. I had my calendar up. Then I did a reading for him. And it literally like, that was the last day people had ever seen him on LinkedIn. And he disappeared for 6 months, and he came back and he launched a frequency app. And
Whoa.
everyone
You are behind the transformation of Chris Walker?
I was one of the triggering things, yes. And so then he I opened his mind. I was like, this is all code. Like, it's all, we live in a frequency powered matrix. And he's like, everything's frequency. I was like, yes. And he understood everything I was saying. He was like, it all clicked to him because these are all things that he inherently knew in his being. And he was always supposed to change the world. It's in his chart to literally change the world, and wake people up. He is a very, very incredible human. And so when that happened, within 2 weeks of me working at this company, I was like, I think I should be doing astrology.
Right.
And so that's when I started diving deeper into it, because I was like, if I'd have only been studying for astrology at that point for about 7 months, and I was able to literally change this man's life, this stranger who I knew nothing about, his entire life. And after that, he sold his companies and he launched this whole, he left B2B. And I was like, if I have that big of an impact on someone who's going to then have a huge impact on all of society, maybe I should be working with these individuals behind scenes.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm supposed to be doing, is working with people one-on-one like this. And so I knew that my time at Warmly was limited. So I started studying astrology more and more, looked into my chart, saw that I was going to be leaving. And then I also saw in my relationship chart that we were going, although we had signed a new lease, that we were going to move between June and August.
Wow.
And he was like, there's no fucking way we're do that. And then we got someone to take over our lease on June 1st, and we moved July 15th. Dead set in the middle of June and August when I had predicted that we would move. And
had you always wanted to live in a van? Was that always a life you were intrigued by, or was that something new this year too?
That was something that always piqued my interest my entire life. I kind of felt like, since I had first ever heard about van life, and seeing these really bougie luxury vans, I'm like, oh, I could live in that. I always felt in my being that I would end up living in a van one day. And so then things just started to change very rapidly as I was learning astrology. And in the spring, a bunch of events progressed. And then all of a sudden, me and my boyfriend had hit this point that we were like, we got the corner apartment with the floor to ceiling windows and overlooking a mountain in Arizona. It was the dream life. It's everything I'd ever wanted. But we didn't want it anymore. I was like, I
Burn
just
it all
don't
down.
want it. Yeah, let's go. I don't want it anymore. Let's get someone to take over the lease. Let's sell our possessions. Let's move in a van. I don't want it. I don't want this life anymore. So he quit his job because I was like, I make enough money doing this corporate job plus doing readings on the side, and I was doing consulting work still on the side for web design. I was like, I make enough money, why don't you just quit? And then he was like, okay, cool. And I was like, we'll move into a van and I can take care of us. And then I lost my job. He panicked and I was like, no, we're gonna be fine. I'm gonna do astrology and it's all gonna work out. And it all seamlessly happened happened at the perfect time.
Oh, Becca. Okay, first of all, I created this podcast because I love witnessing people when they are fully aligned in their purpose. And you are lighting it up. You're lighting it up, and you help people find that through.
Yeah, that's the best. That's why I feel so aligned, is because I get to help people every day.
Yeah.
I remember being in corporate and I would do readings on the side during my lunch break and stuff, or honestly, let's be realistic, during my day. I was like, fuck it. They're not paying me enough to get 40 hours of my time.
Fair enough.
I would tell my manager that all the time. I'd be just so you know, I am only working 25 hours a week, maybe 30 you'll get from me. And he's like, as long as the work gets done, I don't care. And I'm like, cool, we're on the same page. And he's like, also stop telling other people that I say this at our company. And so but every time I do these readings, I'd be like, man, that's all I want to do. I don't want to go back to marketing. I don't want to do marketing. I want to talk to people and read their energies and get them see the light come back in their eyes, because it awakens something in them.
Okay, so I earmarked Virgo moon. You had something to say about that.
Okay, so I took a survey. You know how I told you during your reading, I was like, you like to cry in the mirror. And you started laughing. I did a survey, and every Virgo moon I have spoken to has admitted that they have, in fact, cried in the mirror. It's like this perfected performance with you Virgo moons, and I'm obsessed with it because I'm the ugliest fucking crier ever. Oh my God. And then a Virgo moon, when you guys start crying, I'm like, there's so much beauty in sadness.
Okay, maybe we should pull up my chart.
Yes! Oh my God, let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Can I screen share in here? Shut up, I can screen share. Okay, we're pulling up your chart. I'm so excited. Let me get it open.
Before we do this, I have heard some astrologers say like, oh, don't let everyone in the world see your chart. Is that true? Like, is it fine? Could somebody, totally come out and curse me? Like, what is the deal there?
Let me look at your chart first to see if you're susceptible. No, honestly, it'll be fine for you.
Okay.
There are, it is the code to your soul.
Right.
However, I put my chart out there in public all the time because I have to use it as a reference to teach people. And it's the code to your soul, but like, honestly, no one's going to want to curse you. Like, you're just out here to be an artist. Like, people are trying to curse like people like my ex-employer. I have that man's birth chart.
Oh, right.
He does not want to mess with me. But no, you're fine.
Oh, that could be a whole episode on your podcast.
Honestly.
I mean, celebrities' charts are out there. Like, people are.
Yeah, they are. They're people. It's like, I think it's like this weird, like, fear mongering. Like, someone's gonna curse you. Like, no. Right. Like, people, honestly, in order to curse someone using their birth chart, you would have to be an astrologer and know astrology. And if someone's going to put that much effort into it, like, you're safe. Honestly, it's the males that shouldn't be giving away their charts willy-nilly. I don't think,
Okay, so I was born at 1:40 a.m. We're just going to throw it all out there.
Yes.
In St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm a Scorpio sun,
Virgo rising.
Yes. And Virgo moon. And tell me more.
Okay. God, I love your chart. Okay. So you have, my favorite placement of yours is Saturn in the 5th house, because Saturn is the planet of mastery, right? And the 5th house is self-expression. These people, when you have Saturn in the 5th house, you came down here to create. You came down here to create whatever the fuck you want to create, whether it's paintings, businesses, like Bill Gates has Saturn in the 5th house. If you want to create a business, you totally can. You want to create a product, you can do that. If you want to create art, a podcast, whatever you want to create, you get to create. You signed up to be an artist. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? That sounds like so much fun. It's the house of like pleasure too, and fun and hobbies, and romance. And that's all you get to do. But it's like, because you're faced with all these challenges, everyone from the outside looking in, I'm like, this is a stellar placement. From the inside, all of you guys are like, it's so hard to create. And I'm like, get over yourselves. My boyfriend has Saturn in the 5th house. I have so many friends with Saturn in the 5th house. I'm like, get over yourselves. Woe is me. I have to create.
I think it's like, for me, it's like these expectations that I'm supposed to go, like, get the bag, like, get money, like, be super successful. And that's why
because you're South Node.
Okay.
Because your South Node is your comfort zone, and that's in the 10th house. And the 10th house is the house of career and your legacy and public image. So you're so comfortable building your career. You're like, that's what I have to do. That's what I'm supposed to do. And the universe is like, no, stop it. Stop it. You've already done that. We're not doing that anymore. You're here to just like focus on emotions.
Maybe the podcast is my door, Becca.
Yes!
I feel it. I have felt it the last like 3 years. That's why the title is Art is the New Wall Street, because Wall Street is like my mentality. Oh, like, I need to get the money, I need to get the promotion, I need to all of that. Oh no, I just get to create. And I'm like, oh
Yes!
yeah, I'm supposed to like make stuff.
That is like when I saw your chart and I found out the name of your podcast, I was like whenever I see someone, I'm like, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. I like freak out. I'm like, stop it. Stop doubting yourself. That's exactly that's perfect. It couldn't be a more perfect name. It makes it, I lose my mind. I lose my mind during it. I just tweak out. But I will tell you what's going on with you. Oh my God. You just had your birthday
What?
was literally yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're doing a solar return chart. We're doing a solar return chart.
Okay.
Yes, it's going to be so much fun. Oh my God. Let me
Okay,
create
so
it.
for listeners that don't know astrology that well, start with like, what is a solar return?
Okay, so a solar return is the moment the sun returns to the position it was in the day you were born, the moment you were born. And for you, that's when the sun is at 27 degrees and 13 minutes Scorpio.
Okay.
So we're going to calculate, I'm going to use my software to calculate and pull up the moment that happened yesterday. And the moment it happens yesterday, where you're located currently right now, will tell you, like, that's your solar return chart, and it will tell you all of the themes, everything that you are going to experience this year. And this it couldn't be a better day to do it.
My birthday was yesterday.
Yes! Okay, what city are you in right now? Or yesterday?
St. Paul, Minnesota.
St. Paul, Minnesota.
Where are you right now in your van? Are you still in Arizona?
Yes, I'm in Saguaro National Park.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was really fucking cool. It was awesome. Except it's raining today, so I kind of have to just be in the van, but that's okay. It's nice for a rainy day. Solar return. Okay, we got it. It was at 1:48 a.m. Oh my God, you're a Virgo rising again this year. Congratulations. That's funny. That is actually really funny.
Am I not always a Virgo rising?
No, so each year it changes depending on where you are when your solar return happens. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so let's see what the previous one is real quick. Let me go back to my software. Select. Yeah, so it's changed by 2 degrees for you. Okay. So now you're 24 degrees Virgo. And all your planets, a lot of your planets changed positions, like the outer ones, not the very tight personal ones. They kind of shifted a little bit. But yeah, your planets, some planets moved around. So we're going to go over like what's going on because the planets shifted. And, but yeah, it can change. Like I think I'm a Virgo rising this year, and I'm normally a Cancer rising.
Okay.
So it just, and if you move, especially if you move, then it really starts to alter your energy.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
I've never heard that before, but I'm not like as deep into astrology as you are, but I am really starting to get into it. Like it's really interesting to me, and I want to know more.
It's endless. So, it's incredible.
Where can people go to like learn about this? Like, where did you start?
Books are the best. Like, that is, if you want to learn anything, you want to read books. I have so many book recommendations. Just 2 that I'll the one that I'll throw out there because it teaches you about the energies themselves, which I think is great for anyone who doesn't know anything about it. It's Llewellyn's Complete Book of Astrology. It's a purple book. It's phenomenal, and that's the one that I recommend for beginners. Go there. Once you're there, then it opens up so many doorways. And then also, I do have an astrology course coming out mid-December.
I'm excited for you.
Yes, it's going to.
This episode will be out before then. So, tell me more about the course and.
Yes, I'm really excited. So it's basically there's over 100 videos, and honestly it's probably going to be upwards of 200 by the time I'm finished recording at the end of this month. And I teach people how to read astrology like a coding language, how I read it, and I explain all of the energies, all of the houses, how you interpret a chart basically. So it's going to be an online video course because some people just they don't want to sit down and read it, and I get it. Not everyone's a reader in this lifetime. I see it in people's charts. I'm like, you're not going to read a book in your lifetime, but you will listen to a video. So I do have a course coming out end of December, like it's mid-December, right before Christmas. It will be out. That's my deadline that I've made for myself. But back to you.
Yes. Okay.
Solar return. Okay, so these are the themes that you are going to experience this year.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. We
Oh gosh, I
have
need to, like, buckle in.
So in the second house, we have Venus and the moon, and they're conjunct together. Venus represents values, also love and relationships, but keyword being values, and then the moon represents emotions, and they're 1 degree apart from each other. So they are conjunct. They're conjoined together. Those energies are fused together this year for you. Your values are wrapped around your moon or your emotions, and your emotions are intertwined with your values. Like you,
Ooh.
and with that, essentially and with it being in the second house, because the second house is the house of self-worth, the only way you're going to make money this year is by being truly aligned with what you value on an emotional level. Otherwise, the universe is like, no, we're not giving you any money, but if you do that, we'll give you all the money in the world.
Wow. Interesting.
Yes.
I just quit corporate.
Yes, this is perfect timing.
But I'm figuring out what it is I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I have a couple clients and they're marketing clients. They're tech companies. And they're paying my bills, and I'm really grateful for that. I got to figure out where to go. What am I doing to make money?
The pod.
The pod?
The pod. Yes.
Oh, it's got to grow.
Yes.
Right.
You just got to do it every week.
Okay. Every week?
Yes. I want weekly episodes of Art is the New Wall Street.
Okay.
I want to know every morning when I wake up on this day of the week that it's going to be there.
Okay.
I'm telling you, the pod would be really great for you because, this is why. This is why. Okay, you have the sun, Mercury, and Mars all in the third house. The sun is your ego. Mercury's your mind, communication, how you're thinking. Mars is like, where is your drive? So it's where you have the most energy this year. And it's in the third house. And the third house is communication. It's talking. It's yapping. It's not shutting the fuck up. It's Gemini energy, and those motherfuckers never shut up.
Wow. Okay. No.
Yes.
Okay. So funny enough about that is I used to be so like I had a physical reaction to small talk like 6, 7, 8 years ago, like growing up, like college, like 20s. I was like, get away from me, like forced networking. Like I don't want to talk to anybody. And now I have a fucking podcast. Like literally my best friend one time at a party, she was like, she pulled me aside after me and her were in a conversation with this guy, and he was like talking about, I don't even know what he was talking about, but I guess all I kept saying was, oh, that's cool, or oh, makes sense, or cool, yeah. And she's like, where are you in this conversation?
Not here.
I'm like, not here. I'm so uninterested. She's like, all you're saying is, cool, yeah. Like you need to
Some
work
people
on your
are
small
boring.
talk. But she was even like, you need to work on your small talk. And I was like, I hate small talk.
I mean, that's fair. You natally, you have Mercury in Sagittarius, which those people hate small talk. You want like philosophical talks. Like, tell me about the universe, what your theory about the universe is. Can you share your theory of time space? Oh, you haven't thought about it? Are you fucking kidding me, loser? Yeah. Nope, not interested. You do have a high level of intelligence though, and you need someone interesting to keep your mind interested. But this year, with Mercury being at 29 degrees Scorpio in your solar return chart, so 29 degrees is a critical degree. There is a need to be seen for communication this year. You have to fucking communicate. And with the sun right next door to it, it's shining this spotlight and it's raising up like this intensity. And it's in Scorpio, so you're supposed to have very deep talks this year. You're supposed to go to places people don't go to in your podcast. Like this episode, for example, is a place people don't go to. And you're supposed to continue. All of your episodes have to follow that pattern of like, we're going to the depths of the psyche and understanding a different level of the human experience.
Wow. I have goosebumps. Okay. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Okay, and then Mars is in that house, so you have all the energy in the world to do it. Like, you're like, let's go. Let's fucking go. Let's go. And it's go big or go home, because Mars is in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius, it expands anything that it touches, that energy. So it's like, let's go so fucking hard. And being at 10 degrees, that's a Capricorn degree. Capricorns are very cunty. They get shit done. So it's like, let's go so big and so extra, and I'm going to build the shit out of my little talking empire.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I have been like, I'm not going to put so much pressure on the podcast. I just want to do episodes when I do episodes. It's like my little side thing. And I think, but it's the one thing that like brings me all the energy right now. Like, it feels really good when I do the episodes.
That's
It's
literally
like,
how you charge your battery.
it's the posts that I don't love doing because it takes me so long to edit. But I just hired an editor. They're gonna edit this episode, this specific episode for me.
Wait, that's so funny, because I was thinking that yesterday. I told my boyfriend, I was like, I want to hire a podcast editor.
It takes so long to edit them, and then it makes me procrastinate because I like don't want to do it because I don't want to put the time in, because I just love having the conversations, and like I love reaching out to people and like putting their episode together, but I just don't like the post part.
That's a productive
All of my
use
listeners
of
are
your
hearing
time.
What?
That's a productive use of your time.
Yeah.
So now you're going to go hard on the pod because you have an editor.
I think I might.
Also, like, just to be, I'm not trying to like totally hype you up, but like, I'm mad that I didn't create that podcast title. Like, art is the new Wall Street. Are you kidding me? That is brilliant. It makes me a little like angry that I didn't come up with it first.
Well, I also love the code fairy, and then like your readings are literal like front end, back end. Like you have a whole signature thing, Becca.
It is
so.
fun. Yes, I guess I can.
And you're literally
I can let you out this
living
one.
aligned to your values. You're living according to your chart. It's so cool. It's so cool.
And you are now too. Thank
trying.
God.
I'm getting
Thank
there.
God you are. Okay, now let's see what else is going on in your chart. So the 5th house, we have Pluto in there. With that makes for like any 5th house themes, you know, self-expression, creativity, very, very powerful. Whatever you release, it has this ripple effect that changes the collective because it's tied to Aquarian energy. It's in Aquarius, and the Aquarian energy is tied to the collective. It's all about humanity and progress. So the conversations you're going to be having, they're going to be super deep and intense. And as a result, what you create and what you release outwards, like the art that you release, has a very powerful transformation on the collective. Congratulations.
That's cool.
Yes. And then we have, let's see, the North Node in the 6th house. So basically, and it's in Pisces. So North Node in Pisces, the entire collective right now is being called to surrender and slow the fuck down and just trust the universe. It's a painful lesson, but we all have to move slower. We just do. And with yours, it's in the 6th house. So it's telling you to slow down in your daily routines and trust that everything is, you're putting in the work each day and it's going to pay off. Okay, cool. Saturn and Neptune in the 7th house. Your relationship's going to be super delusional and complicated this year.
Oh, great.
This, honestly, I'm going to be honest, this is not the year to date.
Oh, no.
It's okay.
Good.
Focus on the pod.
Okay.
Focus on the pod, because all of the relationships that you experience this year, they will come with confusion, delusion, and just utter challenges.
Okay. Like
It's
all
okay.
relationships, like friendships, family,
Yeah.
love,
Just
romance,
one-on-one relationships.
one-on-one relationships.
So mostly like business partnerships and like romantic relationships. Those two specifically, not necessarily friends, but those two, be wary of your involvement.
Okay. Yep.
It's okay. We can't have all the good. We gotta have some challenges.
It's okay. It's okay.
You get to shine in the podcast world and transform the collective with your art. Cool. And then you're like, oh,
Okay, so no business partnerships.
Yeah, don't do I would not. I would
Okay.
not. Be wary. We got to check
Okay.
if there's a potential for a business partnership that you're interested in, please just hit me up and let's check your transits and make sure it's good.
Okay.
Okay. 8th house. There is the wound. Chiron is in the 8th house this year. So with that being there, essentially it's going to heal it's going to be a very healing year in terms of like your personal transformation and how you access like shared resources, like other people's resources, whether that be time, money, like people wanting to do things for you. There's going to be a lot of opportunities to heal any wounds around that.
Oh, that's lovely. Okay.
Right?
Cool.
It is lovely. And then Uranus, she is in the 9th house. So that's going to be this is a year that it's like a massive spiritual awakening for you. And it just abruptly changes your view of the universe and how you communicate with the universe.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. It's pretty fucking cool, actually. Love a good spiritual awakening.
Okay, let me ask you this. So this maybe wouldn't be in my solar return chart, but from May until about August, September time of this past year, I was going through a major health situation. Was that in my chart anywhere?
I bet I could find it.
I would love if you could find it. I'm totally putting you on the spot here, so if it's not in my chart, that's okay. But
no,
I
could find it. Trust me.
Yeah, so specifically, I had neuroendocrine tumors.
What does that mean?
They're called paragangliomas. So like your system that's like responsible for, well, usually a neuroendocrine tumor starts in your adrenal gland. But mine started outside of my adrenal gland. So like typically it would be like the system responsible for fight or flight, making adrenaline because it's an adrenal gland. So yeah, I had a surgery in August and I found this out. Like I got the diagnosis, or I like got the chart back on like May something is when I figured it out.
When did you get in August?
When did I have the surgery?
Yeah.
Let me look at my calendar. It was August 11th.
Okay. Oh. Is that feels like what does I don't your adrenaline gland, is that like in your mind?
So it wasn't in my adrenal gland. It was in my neuroendocrine system.
What does that mean?
I'm gonna Google it right now because I don't want to get it wrong. A rare tumor that starts in neuroendocrine cells, which are found throughout the body, most commonly in the pancreas, small intestine, and lungs. That's not where mine were, though. They were like all over, but they release excess hormones. And I wasn't even really having a lot of symptoms. I had been hospitalized back in November, and then basically my metanephrine levels were like super, super high, like 3 times what they were supposed to be. And my listeners know because this was my first episode back. I explained all of this, like where I had been. But they can happen like anywhere in your body, and it's your Here, let's Google this. What's your neuro?
Wait, so it dealt with your pineal gland and nervous system, or no? Which glands?
The neuroendocrine system is responsible for regulating and coordinating a wide range of bodily functions by connecting the nervous and endocrine systems. It controls metabolism, growth, reproduction, stress response. Like literally, my hormones were all out of whack.
Yeah. Okay, so I do see it in your chart.
What?
Yeah, so back in, when was it? Okay, let me pull it up the week. So the Hygeia, that represents like health. Okay. That entered into Gemini on May 25th, end of May, and with it entering into Gemini, Gemini rules the nervous system. So it's health matters related to the nervous system. And then with the North Node here at 24 degrees, retrograding back into Pisces, it was moving then within like 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, it moved into your 6th house. But with it even being on the cusp of the 6th house, it started affecting the 6th house. And the 6th house is the house of health, like literally physical health. It's Virgo energy, and it was opposing your rising sign. And you being a Virgo rising, you probably have health. There are health related themes in your lifetime because Virgo rules over health. And so with it, the North Node opposing it, it was essentially telling you, like, with this, it was creating this square right when did the square start happening? Like July formed a square, this North Node with the Hygeia, with your nervous system, and it's essentially triggering, like, in the house of health with your nervous system. It's basically being like, you need to slow down, otherwise you're totally going to fry out your nervous system, and you need to take care of your health and, like, really, like, be patient and slow down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I hope that you are watching this on YouTube, listeners, because she literally just showed you what happened, and I put her on the spot. She had no idea I was going to do this.
It's really cool. Everything's written there. It's all buried within this code. You just have to, each piece represents, like, so many different things. And so, like, it's just, you can tell me anything and I can find it within there. Like, I recently found, this is so not related to, like, your health problem, but I recently found out the reason I like to collect stamps is because I have Mercury in the 4th house, and I had no fucking idea. I read, like, this book, this old astrology book from the 70s, and it said Mercury in the 4th house. You likely like to collect stamps. And I'm like, the fuck?
No way.
I was like, how did they know that I have a stamp collection?
Okay, do you have anything else to say about my solar return, or should we move on to a couple of other things I want to ask you?
Yeah, let's move on. I gave you a gist. I gave you a really good summary.
Yes, thank you for that. So in conclusion, no business, relationship, partnerships, like, be wary.
Yes.
Not the year to date. Definitely the year to like, go hard on the pod.
This is the year of the pod.
More episodes, and something about emotions. What was the thing you said about emotions? They're like tied into my values or something like that.
Oh my God, yes. If you do not do things that are directly tied to what you value on an emotional level, you will not make money.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's also, like, super exciting because you then get to make money by doing something you really value emotionally.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Love. Okay. I want to talk about, like, the collective energy we're all in right now. So from your perspective, what is the collective experiencing?
Actually, I'm going to pull up a chart to reference it so that it can be up here. Let's see. Let me do new chart. Let me set it to 0 degrees Aries so we can see the themes. So when I'm looking at, like, what's going on with the collective, I usually pull up, like, the transits, and I'll set it to be at 0 degrees Aries so that all of the houses are tied to their natural signs. Basically, this way, when you do it this way, to summarize the meaning, so you don't have to focus on math and stuff, it's you align everything with the themes. This is, like, to tell you what themes we have going on here. Am I sharing the screen? Oh my God, no.
You aren't.
Okay. There we go. Okay, there we go. So basically, right now, we're going to start off with where should we start off, actually? Let me remove some points. Hold on. With the collective, where we always want to start off is Pluto and talking about Pluto, because Pluto is the outmost planet or fucking rock, asteroid, whatever you want to call it. It still has an effect, an energetic pull on us and affects us. And so Pluto represents power and transformation. It stays in a sign longer than any other planet, and because of that, it sets the tone of an entire era in time for the collective. It stays in a sign for about like 20-ish years,
Okay.
give or take. And so Pluto entered into Aquarius about a year ago. Now, with Pluto being in Aquarius, that means power to the people. It's all about gaining power back. And before this, Pluto was in Capricorn, and that breeds corruption, manipulation, greed, billionaires. And now that Pluto's in Aquarius, this is the energy that takes place anytime an empire falls. Every single time a society has essentially collapsed, Pluto has been in Aquarius. And so America was founded when Pluto was in Aquarius. So it is our Pluto return. And anytime a country is experiencing their Pluto return, that's usually when the society collapses, because it takes about 250 years for Pluto to make its way around the entire constellation through the entire zodiac. And historically, empires collapse after 250 years. Now tell me astrology isn't fucking real, okay? It's the Pluto return these societies experience. So we're experiencing our Pluto return. So society is on the brink of collapse. Yay! This is super fun. Surprise, surprise! Like we didn't already know. Now, back in... so for the last 14 years... Neptune over here in the 12th house, she was in Pisces. And Neptune in Pisces is very delusional. It's highly delusional. And it creates a lot of confusion, especially in terms of religious psychosis. So there's a lot of things wool was pulled over our eyes, essentially, for the last 15 years. No one really saw what was going on. And then Neptune entered into Aries, actually, back in I want to say in March, April. And with that, that's when a bunch of things started being exposed. So Neptune enters into Aries once every 168 years, or 64. The last time Neptune was in Aries was the Civil War.
Okay.
So we have the energy of the American Revolution, then we have the energy of the Civil War, all happening in the same year, which is pretty rare for those two energies to line up. And so we started getting this energy where things started to get exposed in the spring and summertime. However, now Neptune retrograded back into Pisces last month, and with that, it's slowing everyone down. Neptune in Pisces, Saturn in Pisces, North Node in Pisces. Pisces is the end of the zodiac. It's the end of all things, and it brings everything to a close. There's a lot of delusion with it. There's a lot of grief. There's a lot of confusion, and we are just having the only way to navigate that Pisces energy, because there is very heavy dominant Pisces energy present right now in the collective. The only way to navigate is by completely letting go and trusting that everything's going to work out. You have to slow down and you have to just ride this wave. It's water. You got to ride it. But this is going to all pass. All those Neptune, those Pisces placements, those planets are going to re-enter into Aries in mid-February, right around the solar eclipse. And with that, there is going to be this charge of energy, again, like the Civil War type energy, and just so much energy it's the shattering of the grand illusion, essentially, when Neptune enters into Aries. And so it shattered once, a bunch of people woke up in the spring and summer, and it retrograded back, and now it's going to shatter for good, and there's no going back, and it's going to go so deep into Aries and stay there for about 14 years, and combined with Pluto and Aquarius, everything... all of the delusions, everything, why the fuck do megachurch pastors have multi-million-dollar homes and multi-million-dollar cars? Why are you, why? How do you get that money being a church pastor? Are you, shouldn't that money, the reason you're tax exempt is because you're helping the poor? And so people are starting to see that, and it's really tied to religion, these themes. And religion has been a problem in society. It's the start of a lot of wars and bullshit and arguments essentially in society, because it's my my theology is more right than your theology. But at the end of the day, people are starting to realize that no matter if it's Christianity, simulation theory, Judaism, Islam, astrology, it's all the same fucking story, except used with different words. We're all talking about the same thing, and we don't have to argue about which one's more right. It's just a metaphor to understand the universe. And people have been very delusional the past 15 years. We've been able to be manipulated, like the masses have been able to be manipulated easily by people in power. And now that's all crumbling. And so we have to essentially ride this wave. There's a stillness right now that you feel, like this tension, right? And all of these planets right here for the month, we have the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all in the 8th house in Scorpio. That's been like that for the past month, and they're all about to leave and enter into Sagittarius. But with this past month, we've been feeling like we're standing in like still deep water, and we're like, where are we going? And we're just like treading this water, unsure of the direction we're going. We just have to wait for the wave. It's gonna come, and it's gonna take us out of the water and bring us to the beach when everything is like in Aries essentially, and it's fiery energy. Come end of February, beginning of March, we are going to see so many things in society completely change like no other. People are not prepared to see the change that's about to happen. There's going to be a lot of destruction. There's going to be a lot of fire, like literally physical fire. There will be so much fire. Things will completely burn. But it's all in order for us to rebuild. Like, this is a natural cycle of the universe. Essentially, I mapped out all of the astrology, the astrological events that we have going on this year. So in the past 365 days, every single planet shifted into a new sign. That only happens once every like 100,000 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it is the craziest time to be alive this year. We will never experience this energy ever again in our lifetime, like the intensity of this energy. And it is essentially the way I've mapped it out and calculated it and studied the energy. It's a reset in the universe. It's a complete like game reset, if you will. So we're like in the midst of like the buttons being pushed, but the buttons being pushed really slow, and the button's going to be completely pushed by end of February, and it's a universal reset. The entire Earth resets.
I can't help but think about U.S. politics, like being entwined with all of this.
It's
but
crazy.
Obviously, yeah. Okay, say more.
Okay, because this is fucking wild.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Donald J. Trump was elected when Pluto was at 29 degrees Capricorn. 29 degrees is the final degree of like before it shifts into the new sign. And 29 degrees is a Leo degree. So there's like a need for this to be seen, or for it to come to fruition, for it to be materialized in the physical realm. And Pluto in Capricorn is greed. That's the best way to describe that energy. I'm not saying Capricorn's greed, but Pluto itself in Capricorn is greed and corruption.
Wow.
And so there is a need to physically see the greed and corruption of the United States the day of the election, the day Trump was elected. And who better to represent greed and corruption than Mr. Donald J. Trump himself, the king of greed and corruption. And
Elon was also there with him.
Yes, and he's also very greedy and corrupt. And so Kamala was never going to win that election. It makes me sad, but she was never going to win that election because she isn't the representation of that. And we needed to elect that representation. It's part of this universe's storyline. This was always going to happen. It was always fated to happen that motherfucker was going to get into office that exact day. And what's funny is that yes. So 29 degrees is a Leo degree, like I said. And with, oh my God, we're going to pull up the election chart now.
Okay.
That was like, what, November 4th? The worst day ever. Oh my God.
Yes. That was also November 4th was also the day I was hospitalized originally.
Jesus.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, goddamn.
Anyway.
Okay.
The election day.
Damn, that is, yeah, your nervous system was like being fried, dude.
Yeah, dude. It was.
Yes. Okay. So, ooh, this is interesting. Okay. And Wow. Okay. So basically, okay, so with it being at 29 degrees, which is a Leo degree, Trump has Pluto in Leo. All boomers have Pluto in Leo. And the boomers with Pluto in Leo, it creates this energy. I mean, of course, there are healed boomers, so this doesn't apply to everyone, but it does apply largely to the entire generation. It creates it's all about me. Power to me. Me. It's a me mentality. And Trump has Pluto in Leo. Wait, now I have to look at that man's birth chart. Oh my God.
What is this tool that you were using?
Astrogold. It's my favorite software. I actually partnered with them, so it's $250, but you can get 10% off by using code fairy10. It's my first partnership.
Love.
Okay, so this is his chart. Wow. So Trump is a Leo rising. That's what the Leo was that I was thinking about. Okay, so he has Pluto in Leo, which is like all about me energy. And he is a Leo rising at 29 degrees. And so with Pluto being in 29 degrees Capricorn, there needed to be essentially, it's so perfect that he was elected. He's a Leo rising, and it was at a Leo degree, and he represents greed and corruption. And it also... Okay, going back to politics, though, the day of the election, with that, like, it had to happen. It had to happen. He was going to be the person to expose it all. He's part of the story. This is part of the universe's story. It's all going according to plan, perfectly in sync with the plan. It was always going to happen. It sucks, but, like, It is what it is, and we have to ride the wave because there is going to be... It's a universal reset right now. And with the election... So then shortly after, Pluto enters into Aquarius and its power with the people, and it's here to expose everything, all of the greed and corruption that we just elected into office, essentially. Which,
How much longer do we have to sit in the greed and corruption? According to the transits, according to astrology, how long will we have to sit in the greed and in corruption until the power is with the people? If you had to predict.
If I had to predict, it's going to be... So this is also a thing. Okay. Because I've thought about this a lot. So all of the people so Pluto's in Aquarius, right? Aquarius energy is the energy that starts a revolution. However, Pluto, right? All of the people in power right now are boomers, like Donald Trump. They're all boomers with Pluto in Leo. And the baby boomers are the largest generation to be born in the US. And so with that massive generation, there is naturally more Leo energy present in society than Aquarian energy because Pluto and Aquarius just started a year ago. Simultaneously, we have declining birth rates. So there's a lot less people being born with that energetic signature, which causes this, like, when's it gonna happen? We're still waiting, right? Well, it's hard for it to happen. It probably would have happened a lot faster if birth rates weren't declining. But again, this is all part of the grand story. So birth rates are declining. So we have the largest generation to ever be birthed with Pluto and Leo having so much Leo energy. And we have declining birth rates and very little people with Pluto and Aquarius being born. And so we need more Aquarian energy because they sit on the same axes. Leo and Aquarius sit on the same axes. They're sister signs. And in order to flip this scale, we need more Aquarian energy. And there isn't enough Aquarian energy present yet in society. Now, get this. The most popular month to be born, like births per day, it's like Leo into Virgo season. So there are more Leo suns than any other sun sign. So there's already more Leo energy present in society. Now get which month is the least popular month to be born. Aquarius season. There are the least amount Aquarius suns of any other, end of January, beginning of February. Least amount of Aquarius suns than any other sun sign. So not only is the sun, do we have more sun in Leo energy than sun in Aquarian energy in society normally. We also have currently more Pluto in Leo energy than Pluto in Aquarius energy present in society. And in order for that scale to flip, we need more Aquarian energy. More people need to be born with Pluto and Aquarius, and more boomers need to die. Wow. Energetically speaking, that is like the formula mathematically.
So does that mean we're going to be in the greed and corruption for a while until that scale balances?
Yeah, like I'm trying to figure out when they're gonna all fucking die, but I don't know. Like, assholes live forever, right? So I'm just like, when are they gonna die? It's just a matter of enough boomers dying and enough more births happening. And this isn't pro baby propaganda, but that is what's happening. That's what we're waiting for, essentially.
Oh my gosh, so many of the women in my family are pregnant right now. So many. Like,
yes,
there's like 7 new babies coming this 2026.
Okay, phenomenal, good. Every time I hear about a baby
do
birth,
they need
I'm
to
like,
be born in
yes.
February?
Preferably, yes. Yes, preferably. Definitely that would be helpful. So we're waiting on that, and what I see happening is that's going to happen, I feel like, come the springtime. That is when everything goes direct into Aries. There's going to be this surcharge of independence, and I think cosmically and energetically, that's all going to align with there being enough Aquarian energy present and enough Leo energy gone.
All right. Okay, I could talk to you forever, but
I could talk to you for hours.
We're going way over our allotted time. Maybe I need to like bring you, if I keep doing episodes more frequently and I do as according to chart, do according to what Becca says I should do, which is once a week.
Yes.
Then maybe I should have you on again soon.
Oh my God, I would love to come on. I could talk to you for hours.
You could give us an update.
Yeah, okay, have me on whenever.
A final question. So for our listeners who are stuck in their current life, trying to figure something out, maybe they're still in corporate because art is the new Wall Street and they're all brainwashed about Wall Street mentality. What's your advice to them, and how do they figure out what to do next?
Well, either get your birth chart read by a professional astrologer to tell you exactly who you are. Wakes you the fuck up. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine. I recommend, honestly, everyone collectively needs to fucking meditate and journal. All the answers come to you when you meditate and journal. I literally, the other day I was having a problem and wrote down in my journal my problem, and immediately it was fixed. It was addressed. The problem was addressed. I could not believe it. I started bawling my eyes out when the problem was addressed because I couldn't believe that the universe responded so fast. You just have to write it down. So much clarity comes through writing down what your problems are.
Oh gosh, here it comes again. So in like every episode, I always talk about The Artist's Way, which is one of my favorite books. You ever read it?
No, I've been wanting to though. I have.
Oh my God. Okay, so Julia Cameron has a couple of tools, and one of them is writing for guidance, where you literally open a journal and you just ask it a question, and then you just write according to the question. It's called guided writing. Like, ask a very pointed question and listen to your inner wisdom or higher power, or whatever the fuck you believe.
Yes, even if you're like, I don't even know what question, literally write in your journal.
What question am I supposed to be asking? Yeah.
Yes, and then you just keep writing and it comes to you. It does. Journaling is the key. If you don't want to spend money on getting a birth chart read or working with a career coach or whatever, I get it. Go fucking journal. All of the answers are inside of us because we are the universe experiencing itself. So we have all the knowledge of the universe within us.
And last question, where can our listeners find you, book a reading? What do you want to plug? We've talked about it a little bit, but give us your little 30 seconds.
Yes. Okay, so oh gosh. You can book a reading on my website, decodefairy.com. I have various types of readings. I work with a lot of different clients, studying their birth charts and regularly meeting with them. Like, it usually starts off, the best way to start off is doing a natal birth chart reading, and then we will go from there doing different types of readings, studying different parts of your chart. We can work together long term. Also, I can be found on TikTok. That is where I'm constantly yapping. My handle's at Beca Bagdocimo. And then my course is coming out next month, which is going to be the best way to learn about astrology, in my opinion, because it's me explaining astrology for hours on end.
I am so excited for that course. I will be taking it.
I'm so excited for you to take it.
Becca, thank you for coming on the show and sharing more about the world and your world, and my world with us. It's been really fun. I could have gone on for 5 hours. And
Same.
to all of our listeners out there, thanks for tuning in and hanging out with Becca and us. Keep creating, keep making magic. Your art is a gift to you in the world. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Art is the New Wall Street. If you liked what you heard today, give our show a follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can find us on social media or at artistthenewwallstreet.com. Keep creating, and we'll see you next time.